Greetings, I'm back. Time to make another very controversial video, I guess. Today I would like to yap a little bit about certain exotics, certain useless exotics, things that you don't really see. I think the most important part first is to kind of set out the underlying ideas or the underlying rules for the video. First of all, I'm kind of a mid-range player, mid-level player, you know. I have a singular build that's like at 300 power level or something like this, kind of about that level, right? And in addition to that, discussion is encouraged. You know, that's the reason why I don't at all moderate comments. So if you don't like me and you don't want to, you want to comment that for some reason, you know, just comment, you're stupid, you're an idiot. That's okay, you know, who cares, it's the internet, you know, it's not an invalid comment, you don't like me, just comment that, that's okay. And if you want to contribute anything interesting, do that too, I guess. The first one, the very first one, oh baby, Sturm, man, I do like this weapon, I like this weapon so much. This is like my #1 most used PvP exotic hand cannon. Has a great sound, unique reload animation, amazing design, evokes, you know, certain historical, you know, weapons from the past. Has a really nice recoil profile as well, but it kind of just works with Drang. And to be honest, you know, at least it refills the weapon of the energy, you know, at least it fills the magazine of the equipped energy weapon from reserves, but is that an exotic perk? Like, is this worth an exotic perk? And this one only works with Drang. Also, oh shit, I'm just realizing this. If they want to keep this combo relevant, they have to reissue Drang, right? Drang is like, it's a crafted gun. Maybe they don't have to reissue Drang, but Drang can never be a tier 5 gun, it can only be a crafted gun. So, are people using that? If you know, you have the choice, you know. First of all, this is a exotic kinetic primary hand cannon, you know. It needs to bring something to the table, and you're supposed to use it with a very specific sidearm, so using a sidearm and a hand cannon. That combination needs to be like pretty potent in PvE for people to use it, and then you take into account that the Drang currently is not capable of getting tier 5 rolls. At least it's craftable, but I think this one, I really want this one to get a different perk. It's just, this weapon, I just want this weapon to be better. This is my, I think, yeah, it is my most liked hand cannon. This is absolutely my top tier hand cannon, even though, again, who is really using this besides in PvP? Have you seen anyone you've played with recently use this? Have you seen anyone make a build around this weapon? Have you seen YouTubers talk about it? Have you seen your buddy who always makes super weird niche builds run around with this thing? Again, you're forced into using a hand cannon and a sidearm. You won't have a special at all, like, and well, the catalyst is kind of nice, but it's not. It just gives it stats. Unfortunately, the catalyst isn't displayed here. I would have to go into my wall to show the catalyst effects off, I guess. But I'm gonna stay in collections just because this is easier. Yeah, it's the first one and it already hurts. This one really hurts because I love this weapon and I just want this to be better. Do I have a solution? No, I'm an idiot who has no idea how to properly balance this game. So I don't know what. This is the case with all the exotics that I'm going to talk about, you know. All that I can do as the player of my level is kind of offer Bungie my opinion, and whoever wants to listen to this video, I guess, and hope that, you know, something is being done about this weapon. What could be done? I don't know. It's an ancient golden age piece of technology. We could do something crazy with it. You know, I don't want this one to be lost, though. Sturm and Drang should continue to exist as a pair of weapons, and maybe reissue Drang at some point so we can get tier 5 rolls with it. That would be kind of nice. Imagine like a tier 5 god roll Drang. Drang is really good in PvP. So this might be a really good combination if we get it. I mean, yeah, again, you have the crafted Drang, but tier 5 Drang, just saying, that would be kind of cool. But just give this exotic something else, man. Just give it something else besides Accomplice and Sturm and Stress. It's kind of meh. It's meh. Sorry. Red King. This is probably controversial. I do like the idea of the, you know, the more people use it, the better it gets. But again, who's doing that? This is such a gimmick weapon. This one is fine on it. I probably should stop bitching about this. This one is fine on its own. It's an exotic sidearm though. Like, who's really gonna use this? Miter and Vigilant thing are both kind of PvP exotics. Like, am I allowed to talk about this? You know, obviously Miter multi-tool is, you know, are you gonna use that in PvE? No. Should I bitch about it because you're not using it PvP and it's in PvE and it's more like a PvE weapon? No. These are both really nice in PvP, so I will not gonna complain about them at all. Jade Rabbit, same thing. Suros. Again, it's a PvP weapon, cool. But these two weapons switch. By the way, we have weapons in the game, exotic weapons that can switch their firing mode on the fly. Why do we have to do this in the inventory? Sure, it deals bonus damage and returns health on a kill, but these are kind of pretty mediocre effects. Again, there is probably more of a PvP weapon, but I think this one could be made better in PvP, especially if we could just kind of switch the firing modes and maybe would they do something more interesting for PvE. There's a lot of opportunities with, you know, since the last video I've made is about champions. You know, we could give some of these firing mode different champion perks. You know, maybe you switch firing modes, you can stun different champions or something like this. Again, I personally don't think champions are in a good spot in this game, and I will stand by that opinion. But, you know, there's definitely something that can be done with this one. Again, you're not gonna see people run around with this one in PvE unless there's like a crazy titan running the build. But then again, you're running Sweet Business or anything else that's interesting, you know? Cerberus. Low-key, Cerberus is pretty good. Also has a really nice skin, by the way. But every time I'm using this thing, I don't know. I just think to myself, why? You know, aiming in the weapon gives you a different spread. It is kind of in both versions of the gun. It's a shotgun-ish weapon. It's okay in PvE, but again, you see anybody running this seriously? Like I'm struggling even finding anything you could be doing with this weapon, right? What would Bungie do with this? Like, is this weapon just kind of cursed to be the kind of, you know? There's probably a niche build you could make around it, but I don't know. I think this could be better. This is like, the exotic perk is kind of just what the weapon is, you know, it's firing mode. By the way, we're at a point in the game where we have spread shotgun hand cannons, and we have a spread scout rifle, the new one released, right? And we have like really interesting legendary weapons that are almost, I think some of the weapons are better than exotics. Like this thing, like only on tier 3 with these perk pool combinations, it just feels like an exotic, to be honest. Like this weapon is on a whole different level. This one as well. This isn't even an interesting role, but these two weapons are just on a whole different level than some of the exotics that we have in the game. So it's a little bit unfortunate to just kind of see a weapon that is, for all intents and purposes, a kind of mediocre shotgun auto rifle hybrid. Again, opportunity, give it some anti-champion capabilities. That's the least you could do to the weapon. Wishender is good, by the way. I don't know why people are hating on Wishender. Are people hating on Wishender? Am I just hallucinating this? This is a really good weapon. Chaperone, again, PvP weapon. I'm gonna bitch about this. Such a good looking weapon, man. And keep in mind, Tex Mechanica weapons are not just PvP weapons. We have a bunch of Tex Mechanica weapons that are really good in PvP and in PvE now at this point in time. So there is no real excuse why this one couldn't be a fucking banger, you know, give it like insane precision damage to bosses or something. It's just kind of, it fires a single slug round and briefly gains bonus handling range, rate of fire, and precision damage. This is the actual exotic perk, by the way. This is just, it's a slug shotgun, and this one states, hey, it actually gets bonus precision weapon damage. Could you tune this maybe a little bit to be like really effective against mages? So it turns the gun into like an absolute major deleting machine. Again, it's a precision shotgun, so it's already pretty okay. Again, not hitting crits is a pretty big waste for any of these shotguns. But I think this, you should probably just tune into the fact that it does bonus precision damage. Just tune this up in PvE, because then people would use it. You know, it doesn't need any kind of fancy explosions on crit kills or something like this. Just have this thing be an absolute, just look at how cool this thing looks, man. This thing needs to be an absolute yellow bar deletion machine. That would be great. That would be really, really great. You know. This is, by the way, the weapon I was talking about. Last word, Tex Mechanica weapon. Really fucking goated in PvE. Really good on Hunter. Kind of just good on everyone, but really good on Hunter because Hunter got the yeehaw pants, you know. Then we have Lumina. Lumina. Yeah, it's a support weapon. But the way how they changed Warlock around this season, some of the synergies are kind of just gone. I don't know if that is intentional or not, but this is like, again, it's kind of just pigeonholed and either into like a weird PvE support build. And again, comment down in the comment section if you're doing this. But do you know anybody in your raid team, in your regular fire team? Have you seen a Blueberry run this weapon and supporting you in a matchmade activity? Is, you know, your friend running this in a Grandmaster activity to heal you? Like, this is just something that, again, it's probably more prevalent in PvP, but yeah, I don't know. I also feel this one could be better. The Catalyst is actually pretty good on this one, but yeah, it's just kind of heal, do bonus damage, but again, super niche weapon to the point, like, at which point is something gonna be niche where you have to argue that it's kind of just not useful anymore, you know what I mean? I think it's completely fine for niche weapons to exist in this game. I would argue that, you know, Ace of Spades in PvE is pretty niche. Izanagi's has some niche uses, you know. Arbalist, by the way, is also kind of a niche PvE gun, but these are kind of doing a thing, right? They're doing something useful. Izanagi's especially is pretty useful in certain scenarios, you know. It's pretty specific, but then you go to Lumina and you go, can you justify, you know, you have to give up any other exotic. When we're talking about these weapons, all of these, we have to juxtapose them with anything else that could potentially exist in the slot. So Thorn could exist instead. Last Word could exist instead. You know, you could just use Crimson instead. You could, you know, use Malfeasance instead on Hunter and get like a damaging build. Like, what's the point of Lumina in PvE? Realistically, are they going to do anything with this gun? I don't think so. It's again, it's very pigeonholed in this kind of niche scenario. And I think it's okay for certain weapons to exist like this. It's just kind of sad, the fact that, you know, this quest wasn't actually as memorable as the Thorn quest was really good. The Thorn quest was really fucking cool. The original Thorn quest was really cool to do. This one is less memorable, but I still kind of, you know, I like this weapon. I want to use. I would like to use it and be, I want to be impactful when I use this in a PvE scenario. But am I going to be impactful if I use Lumina in a Grandmaster when I could, help killing any kind of major boss with like malfeasance? I'm just trying to juxtapose hand cannons against each other at this point. I could use any other exotic weapon. Again, power exotic weapons really important for DPS or killing major enemies throughout an encounter. And just realistically, Lumina is just kind of in an unfortunate spot. Many of these weapons are in unfortunate spots. A lot of these are not outright bad weapons. This is the one thing I want to make clear, and I think I have to say this again and again. These weapons are not outright unusable. They are just kind of mediocre. Mediocre. With a horde. God, poor with a horde. Not useless. I'm just kind of sad that this got nerfed. Traveler's Chosen. Guys. Traveler's Chosen. When was the last time I used this gun? I think I used it in PvP to get sidearm kills for a specific quest. That was years ago. Again, you have to tell me in the comments if you're using this, but it just kind of, it facilitates you getting your ability. And you get your abilities back if you consume the stacks. And if you hold onto the stacks, it gains extra stats. But it doesn't get any kind of damage. And it's just kind of a sidearm. It's like, sure, does it have to be a fucking, an absolute killer in PvE? I don't know. Should it do anything else? Also, are you using this in PvP? Again, tell me if you do. Is this like a goated PvP weapon? When is the last time you've seen someone use this? So, these are just, with the current builds that we're having, 200 weapon stat, 200 melee stat, 200 grenade stat. Do you really need Gift of the Traveler and Gathering Light to facilitate getting your abilities back even faster? Like, the only reason you would play this one is to get, you need to get kills with this one, right? And then that would give your abilities back. Are you using this weapon on an ability spam build? Like, is this one on the same level as Monte Carlo for melee? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Not at all. Cryesthesia. Cryesthesia, again, absolutely goated in PvP. Weirdly good weapon in PvP. The only sidearm that I had, a very abnormally good experience using it in PvP. I don't even know why this thing is this good. It's just, people don't expect it, I guess. But what does this thing do? Freezes. Slows. You need a final blow to fire a freezing bullet. Guys, come on. Like, this is its exotic perk. It fires a freezing bullet after a kill. Please. That's like, I mean, it has anti-champion capabilities built in. I don't know, so kind of, that's cool, I guess. But is that the purpose of the gun? It's just a champion stunning tool? I don't even think we need to add does 5 billion more damage to all of these guns, but come on. This just basically fires a freezing grenade, and that's it. Again, are you running this one every time when we're talking about these exotics? You have the choice, right? You have to make a choice. Are you running this over any other exotic in an endgame build? Is this gonna be featured in a day 1 raid? It freezes a single enemy. I don't think so. Like, this one is pretty meh. Forerunner. Am I brave enough to talk about this? People are gonna hate me for saying this one, man. I think we could do more with this. I think we could do more. It's just big iron on hip. But again, This is a PvP weapon. But I think it has a right to exist in PvE. Are people using this in PvE? Are people using the rock in PvE? If, you know, where even is this one? Where's that? Ah, there it is. It's on the, I'm an idiot. It's on the catalyst. Yeah, you get the rock grenade if you get a kill. But it's not a good grenade, you know. Also, I'm pretty sure you can get that grenade from certain modifiers in missions. Not anymore, maybe, but you know, we've seen this one similar to like a strand grenade that you can throw. It really. Am I allowed to say that this is just a gimmick? I think it's just a gimmick weapon. This, by the way, people are not gonna like this. This could just be another version of a special ammunition sidearm. This could just be a legendary. Instead of it being like a rocket-propelled sidearm, it's just a, you know, heavy sidearm. That's all it is. It's an oversized sidearm with extended range, you know, and it has the tap the trigger thing going on. You know, it's a nice little Halo reference, but again, are you gonna use this one? Who have you seen use this weapon? Even in, I'm pretty sure you've probably been mowed down by someone in PvP, because it's the same with Fighting Lion. If Fighting Lion is in your PvP match, you're gonna have a miserable time because that person is going to be absolutely goated. And this is the same thing. If you see somebody using this, oh boy, you're gonna get farmed. But outside of PvP, this one is just also kind of a nothing. Very meh. Very meh. Oh yeah, I remember this one especially. We just had a very big clan-wide discussion about this one. Like, what's the point of this one? Seriously, like what? This is a raid weapon. This is a raid exotic. What's the point of this one again? It's you know, when was this ever good? I don't think this thing was ever good at any point in time. It's just kind of like you shoot the blind and you know, like, again, who is using this? Bungie, you need to do something with this thing, man. It just doesn't do anything. Again, honestly, who has used this thing? Do I have to keep talking about this? Like, this is sad. Again, I'm not angry at these weapons. I'm just really, really sad that this is the state that some of these are. Are you using this weapon? Are you sitting in a well and using this weapon? Are you regularly bringing this weapon to a Grandmaster? If we have like anti-champion mods in the season for scout rifles, are you bringing this weapon because now it gets to shine? Or if there's like scout rifle centric builds in the season, are you bringing this weapon? No. No. It's this is just sad. Extremely sad. Like, we have stuff like Revision Zero, which is like a really specifically tuned weapon. This one is kind of fine, you know. Again though, who's using this one? This is shield piercing ammunition sniper, you know, this is also a weapon that has to switch firing modes in the menu. Like, we have other weapons in the game that can't switch firing modes on the fly. This one can. Like, we can switch elements on weapons, but we can't switch firing modes. And maybe that's a limitation in the code. I don't know how this was programmed. But now that I'm talking about this one, when is the last time you've seen Revision Zero? This is based, like, I don't even know why only the base version is shown here, but there's like upgraded versions that look a bit different. But this thing turns into a pretty cool sniper rifle. Yet you see nobody running this. I guess it's because it's kind of like trapped in the being an exotic primary kinetic weapon, and there's, you know, there's always competition in these slots, you know, but yeah, there's another weapon that's kind of meh. Verglass Curve. Yeah, another one. Like, the only type of bow with these spread shot arrows that I've seen used, I haven't seen it in forever, is the solar version. But this one is like stasis arrows, single shot, stasis crystals, freezes. Oh, who has used this one? in the last few. Have you seen anybody use this? Is there even a specific build you can make around it? It's just kind of a freezing bow. It doesn't even, the problem is it doesn't even do great damage. Like, I'm taking Wish Ender over this one any day of the week. I'm pretty sure I'm taking the Strand bow. Like, there's a Strand version of this one over this. It's just boo. Like, some of the exotic bows are kind of, there it is. Some of the exotic bows are kind of meh. They're meh. These ones are good. Wicked. Necrochasm, Wicked Implement, Navigator, all are good. Then we got Wishkeeper, this is the other one. You know, this one I would actually prefer, but this is just kind of, it throws a snare weaver arrow, it traps and suspends target, you know. It does deal bonus damage to suspended targets, but again, who's using that? Who's using this? I'm going through my mind, like, what weapon have I seen my friends use? What weapons have I seen in match-made activities? What weapons have I seen in PvP? And I'm struggling to even remember these weapons. Like, if I guarantee you there's exotics in here that you don't even remember that they exist anymore. This one is like, again, it's a weird niche weapon that's built around suspending targets, but I don't know. Like, again, I'm just using Wish Ender. I'm not using Wish Keeper, I'm using Wish Ender because it's just better, you know? Oh no. No, shameful, shameful. I don't have this one. Don't look at it. Do not look at it. Ah, Merciless. Brother. Charge rate. Damage. This weapon would be insane if this one was on hits, gain damage. Do you think how cool this weapon would be? You just charge off the fucking magazine, do boss damage with this thing. Like, why is this one not allowed to be like a boss DPS weapon? Again, it's taking an exotic slot. And the only thing it does is it gets increased weapon charge time for hits. And again, it has basically kill clip, right? But why isn't this thing just allowed to be like a absolute, like, it's a big burst DPS, a big burst DPS monster, but you need to get a setup kill in order to have this thing do something, right? Is this something? Okay, it probably gains enhanced perks, like enhanced stats from the exotic catalyst. But yeah, like, there are other weapons in the game that are doing in way more insane stuff than this weapon does. Again, why is it not allowed to be, you know, a big burst DPS weapon? We have weapons, there are in the power slot. And we also have weapons in the special slot that are kind of just good burst DPS weapons. Why does, you know, again, who's using Merciless? I vaguely remember Astrocross making like a build video about it, but that's probably a long time ago at this point. Like, these weapons, sometimes they shine, but they just kind of fall into completely to the wayside after a while. And, you know, it's kind of sad that they're in the state that they are. And the good thing is Bungie is, you know, buffing these weapons every now and then, but I get like the feeling that some of these weapons just go ignored for way too long. Some of these just have very, very basic descriptions, you know, Skyburner's Oath being like another one. It's like a slug launcher. This is just kind of, you use this in PvP if you want to piss people off, but besides using this for very specific gimmick setups, such as damaging Cabal through their shields, this one is also not being used regularly. To be honest with yourself, I know there's going to be people who are absolutely, they just need to be the fucking, what's it called? The contrarians in the comments that are going to be like, I only use this weapon. Good for you, but it doesn't change the fact that this is not, this has never really been big in the meta, you know. There was probably a point in time where it was good, just like Hardlight had its time to shine, you know. But Hardlight and Borealis, I think, I'm not gonna really complain about these too much because they are pretty versatile in what they're doing, but their exotic perk is just kind of switching between elements. Gotta say though, Borealis has the this is the best exotic skin in the game, man. Just because of that, I'm not gonna shit on that weapon. This thing looks too sexy. Hardlight as well, you know, it's a solid auto rifle, can switch elements, so it's always kind of relevant for shields, even though, I mean, we do have match game back. Match game is actually back in the game as an actual modifier, so maybe you might even have a point here for Hardlight, you know. Cold Heart and Prometheus lens, by the way. I'm just pretty quickly talking about these two. They're also kind of meh. This one just has an expanding, scorching AoE, but this is a weapon that scorches. Okay. Yeah. There's other weapons that do scorch better. You know, there's just better scorch weapons. Just as Polaris Lance, for example, or it's upcoming later on. It's somewhere in Tommy's matchbook. Way better. Way better at the thing that this thing wants to do, you know. Sure, it has a little bit of AoE on it, but, you know, it's just... and it's just kind of... The longer you hold on it, I guess this one is interesting with the Titan helmet, because it's Arc. Arc plus Titan helmet might be interesting, but then again, it's probably more interesting setups for an Arc damage Titan. Trinity Ghoul. Trinity Ghoul is a weapon that I want to highlight just because this is spread shot bow done right. This feels pretty cool. Once it procs, it's just a big AoE clearing machine. Same obviously goes for Lemonarch. You know, Lemonarch is like, you know, if you tell me I'm only allowed to use a bow for the rest of my life as an exotic weapon, nothing else, I'm picking this one. This one or Wish Ender. But this one takes the cake over Wish Ender. This is way better, way better. These two just leave the other exotic bows in the dust. Just completely left in the dust, you know. Telesto, our favorite buggy gun. It's probably pretty okay in PvP, and PvE is just kind of, you know... the question is always, are you gonna use this one? Are you gonna use this one? Even, you know, even Toaster. Even the Toaster, are you using this one? Using this one in PvP to piss people off? Again, it's the same thing with Skyburners. You use this one to piss people off because it's like a low skill weapon, but... You know, it does have shield disorient, but... When is the last time you've seen this one? You know, I do get the urge to use some of these now that I'm looking at these guns. This is kind of like going through an old chest of like dusty, crusty ass things that are on your they're in your basement. You know, you go and you find these things. You go, I could use this, but then you realize there's a reason why you haven't used this in forever. It's because it's not that. Oh, thank you. Yeah, contacting Destiny servers. Okay, of course. It's just not that good. You know. Unlike Lord of Wolves, which is really good. Ariana's Vow. This one at least has the place of being an absolute shield killer. But I have to bitch about this one too. You know, again, are you using this besides stunning shielded champions? Are you really using this as like a... You know, it would probably replace something like a sniper. This is like a sniper. Do you use it like that? Are you regularly using? I'm pretty sure people are gonna use this. People are probably using this more than all the other stuff we've talked about, you know? Just as Divinity is still useful in certain cases, this one is. Unlike Symmetry. Symmetry? Like, I've made a joke about this one. I've asked in the clan if people knew what Symmetry is. People couldn't tell me. That should, you know, that should tell you, the watcher, that this weapon is just forgotten. And again, this isn't even a bad weapon, but it's just kind of like, yeah, you build up a charge, you unleash the charge, and then it fires strong arc projectiles. Again, probably interesting on an arc build. Arc Titan can probably use this one, but again, are you using this? You know, like, people are probably going to look at you funny if you run this one in an endgame activity. I'm pretty sure if you actually use these weapons, there probably might be, you know, they might actually perform pretty okay. But again, there's a reason these are just forgotten weapons, and this thing looks really fucking cool. But it's just kind of like it's a scout that has charge projectiles, and you need to get kills to build up the charge. So other exotic weapons just have this weapon beat, and the fact that they just have more upfront things that they do. It doesn't need to be damage. It doesn't just need to be damage. There's just other exotics that have more upfront benefits to them. And Symmetry just needs a bunch of setup, you know. Devil's Ruin, for example, this thing got turbo buffed this season. This one is really good. This is how you properly buff an exotic, right? Ruinous Effigy is the same one. Like, when is the last time you've seen people use this one? It even has this one. I think this is the one, right? Evolution. Yep, the evolution thing. You can get this one from some of the current weapon mods, the like super turbocharged weapon mods. So you can literally just get the Ruinous Effigy effect on another weapon, where it drops like experimental stuff that you can pick up and throw. You know, Duality as well. This is again, it's a PvP weapon, but this is like half slug, half pellet shotgun, and it's solar too. And it does get a precision damage buff, okay. But I think we can give this one Scourge, and honestly, I think we can give this one some sort of ignite effect on a precision kill. To be honest, it's a PvE shotgun, you know. Are you gonna run this? This is always the question. Some of these weapons are really, really, really difficult to make relevant. But if this thing was just better, if it did more, if it just did something more interesting, I think people would just use this, you know. There it is, that's the one I wanted to talk about a little bit. Tico's Divination, that's the one I've actually seen used still, because this is just kind of hip fire, and then you fire on the targets that are marked, and then they explode. Pretty good, you know. It's interesting that there's no Scourge effect on this one. Detonate, increase arrow damage. Yeah, there's no... This is another solar weapon that didn't get Scourged. I mean, it's pretty good without Scourge, but then again, Sunshot got Scourge effects. Why does this one? No. This one probably has Scourge effects. It's probably not in the description, but this is like one of the more modern weapons, right? Then we have all the glaives, which are just kind of I don't want to rag on the glaives. They're pretty okay, but are you gonna see people use these regularly? Lawrence Driver 2 are people using this one in PvE on the regular? It pulls people together on a precision shot. Like, this one is it's like a weird AoE damage weapon that requires like a precision kill. Hey, it's really cool if you kill like a major and then everything around him gets sucked up and killed. But again, when have you seen this one? And, you know, maybe you have a cool idea of what to be done about these weapons. Or maybe you think, you know, these weapons are just fine in their niche position. But I'm just kind of sad looking. There's just so much stuff here that's just not being used. Collective Obligation as well. Like, how many times are people begging Bungie, please do something with this weapon? You know, someone in my clan quit this game over not getting the Collective Obligation. And it turns out to just kind of be a... You know, it's very meh. It's just very meh. Trespasser. Like, huh? Please be honest. Trespasser, arc weapon, no blind, no arc verbs. No, nothing. Like, it doesn't jolt. Why is this not allowed to jolt? Would it be so overpowered if this thing could jolt enemies? No. So why doesn't it? You know? Hierarchy of Knees, by the way, they tried to buff this one. I don't see this one either all that much. I haven't tried this one out. This is one of those weapons that's, again, I'm a weirdo about gimmick weapons. I really want to use this one. I really like this one. It's even featured. It's a featured exotic. So I might try this one out, but the fact that I haven't seen people make builds about this, so it might have not gotten the buff that it needs, maybe? You know? Centrifuge, who's using Centrifuge? I mean, okay, okay, let's Centrifuge it, so it's okay, it's okay. Tessellation is fine, yeah. This is fine, like, guys, Choir of One. Like, this is not a bad exotic. Don't immediately put your pitchforks away. But this is like the gold standard for an exotic weapon. Like, this thing is fucking crazy good. I love this weapon. Buried Bloodline 2, these are cool. These are really, really cool. Yeah, some of these at the end here are now no complaints. Third iteration is good. The Lodestar is really good. Although I haven't seen people use this. I'm biased towards Lodestar because I really like this on my Titan, on the Arc Titan. And I think just having a trace rifle with primary ammo is cool. But this is probably another niche weapon that's kind of fallen out of favor, you know. But anything like Icebreaker, Red Dead, Still Hunt, Bam, Slayer's Fang, Graviton Spike, these are great. Although the service pistol here, the service pistol from Control, let's wait and see how this one turns out. This one might become one of those forgotten weapons, even though Astacross stated it's one of his favorites. I think this is pretty good too, but we've said many things about weapons that were kind of new and pretty, and then people kind of forgot that it existed. Let's see how this one turns out, and this one too. Like, this one might just be forgotten in the next few months. Oh no. Prospector. Have you used the Prospector? I haven't even tried this one. This attacks Mechanica weapon. Is this one good? Like, asking questions like this probably tell you that these are just not, like, it's a grenade launcher in PvE. There's probably better, not exotics, there's probably better legendaries out there. Like, it fires cluster bombs. And on defeating target creates arc explosions. Guys, this is a heavy grenade launcher that's supposed to be used like an... I'm supposed to clear ads with this? And it has full auto trigger system. Which, you know, there's an accessibility feature at this point in time. Man, I don't know. I don't think this is a good exotic. It's just kind of, it has exploding cluster bombs. Isn't that something that's on other grenade launchers? Like, that's probably just a better perk that's on legendary grenade launchers. It's so weird, you know. Don't shit on Tractor Cannon, by the way. Tractor Cannon is still good. Like, these two are very niche, but they have their niche roles. This one too, Legend of Icarus, niche roles. This is good. Darcy. Has anybody tried Darcy? Because apparently this one is supposed to work like Wolfpack rounds, but for snipers. But then again, it jolts targets though. Like, look, Bungie, man. You gave this one jolt, but the arc sidearm doesn't jolt targets. Huh? Like, I'm not getting... I mean, sure, you know, maybe the time comes where these weapons, the other weapons are gonna get the arc verbs added to them, right? But why does it... Why does it take so long? Like, is it really that difficult to, like, think about what would happen if I add jolt to a certain arc weapon? Would that break the weapon? Like, where the fuck is it? Would it break Trespasser completely? Like, would it be super turbo overpowered if it was able to jolt? I don't think so. I don't think so. The Golden Knee. PvP weapon, you know, but what are you using this one for? It's just kind of, hey, if you really want the grenades to reach the target, I guess, but no, this is another exotic that's kind of like turbo niche. Again, I'm not gonna rag on very specific PvP exotics, so I'm just gonna leave this one alone. Yeah, this is one I was talking about. This one, really big burst damage. You know, why isn't Merciless allowed to be, you know, another really big burst damage weapon? Tool-Tailed Fox is another one where you kind of just have to wonder who is really using this. It even gets 3 rockets. And it has the verbs, right? It has all of them. Scorches, Suppresses, and Jolts. It has all 3 verbs. So shouldn't this be pretty good? So why are people not using it, you know? Well, it's probably because there's, you know, just better weapons out there. You could use Anarchy, you know, Whisper of the Worm, you could use Legend of Acrius, you could use 1K, you could, Queenbreaker, for example. Thunderlord the OG, like, again, you're choosing between Thunderlord and the Prospector. You're choosing between Thunderlord and the Two-Tailed Fox, you know? Truth as well, like, this is a PvP or an invasion weapon in Gambit. Are you using Deathbringer, Truth? Are you using Xenophage over Thunderlord? Are you using Salvation's Grip over the Queensbreaker? You know, in every situation you just have to wonder, you know, what's the point in using this? It just kind of acts as a stasis grenade launcher unless you charge it. At least it's no longer just making crystals. It can be used as a grenade launcher, but cool, it's good against Overload champions. But why would I use a heavy to stun Overload champions? That's a little bit too extreme. You know? I'm not gonna shit on Heir Apparent. I like Heir Apparent because I always wanted to have a minigun in the game, and this one is just generally funny to use. See, I think this is a good example. This one isn't necessarily super, you know, it's not a big meta weapon. But I don't dislike this weapon because I am using this one. And I can only think about scenarios where I would use this one. In any kind of scenario where it's a high endgame activity, where you need to be really tanky, and I'm also supposed to just clear enemies out, put that on a Titan, build around it, 200 weapon stat, put up the shield, the fucking, the armor piece as well, the exotic, and just go to town on the enemies, you know? This thing just has a purpose, you know? It has a really interesting purpose, and it's a fucking minigun. I think this is a good example of a weapon that's not necessarily meta, but it's not in such an incredibly awful niche that it makes me kind of just sad looking at it, you know? Just, you know, as opposed to Salvation's Grip, which is kind of just very, very, very sad. Xenophage I'm also a bit sad about. Like, this one was kind of cool. Remember the times where we used this one in Garden of Salvation? And I'm pretty sure we used this one in the Tex Mechanica dungeon to kill the same Harpy too. The Harpy really doesn't like this one. All Harpy bosses hate Xenophage. But it's just kind of like not really used anymore. Eyes of Tomorrow, dude. I tried to use Eyes of Tomorrow as like add clear. It didn't really work out, man. Like the entire weapon is just kind of You know, you look at this and go You know, you get your ammo back theoretically, but you know, it's just sad. Sad, you know. Parasite is very niche. Hard Shadow 2, super niche weapon, invisibility, attack, debuffing. Are you using the sword to DPS? No. But you might be using the sword to like do weird things in an encounter where you're like supposed to be invisible, or you want to debuff stuff. I can see this one being used for certain things. It's not too bad. But it's a deterministic chaos. Like, cool, strong against barrier champions. But it's just kind of, oh, it debuffs enemies. It's a machine gun that debuffs enemies, and it has kind of a weird way of firing certain bullets, you know. Again, this one is competing, unfortunately, it's competing against Thunderlord, you know. And that doesn't mean that Thunderlord needs to be nerfed, by the way. It just means that this thing, it needs a niche, or it needs a purpose. Because I don't believe this one has a niche or a purpose. It is just in a random niche in a game, forgotten. And just kind of like, who cares about it? Yeah, I can't say anything about this one, but these are probably both good. I've known clanmates who use this one. This is good, and this is obviously pretty cool, a raid exotic, so yeah. But this is just the exotic weapons, right? We haven't gotten into the armor sets. These exotic, there's so much stuff here that's already kind of just... If I wouldn't have not talked about these weapons, could you have named stuff like Symmetry or Trespasser just out, you know, do you remember these weapons? Just from your, you know, naturally remembering what they do? Do you? You know? Let's talk about Titan, Geoffrey's Horn, Barricade Explosion, Scorcher's Target. They did buff this one, but there's another Titan exotic that interacts with Barrier, and that's way better. So again, this is I think this is more of a PvP exotic as well. Are you using this? And Helm of Saint 14, like, this is Saint's helmet. I want to reiterate, this is Saint's helmet. And you get Ward of Dawn, Weapons of Light for this thing. Like, they literally just put that onto the helmet. Because it wasn't there before, right? Ward of Dawn blinds. And then Sentinel Shields also blinds enemies. I don't know if this is appropriate for Saint's helmet. I'm really not happy with this exotic perk. Also, it's Ward of Dawn, you know. Who is using Ward of Dawn currently? People are probably all Flechette storming. Like, you know, as opposed to this one. This one is fine, you know. You might not like it, but it's just simple. Arc Final Blows gives you damage. Synergizes with any arc damage, you know, weapon. You put 200 weapons in, it probably is pretty good. It's just such a simple change this exotic made is pretty fucking good, you know. Precious Stars as well, One Night Mask, totally fine, you know. Lorelei Splendor, even though, you know, I'm gonna go to bat for this exotic here. People say this one has kind of become useless. I don't think so. It's still kind of nice to just get a little bit of healing from your barricade to do this. Yeah, it's more of a niche thing, but A, it's cool fashion. You know, it's a really cool looking fashion. And it's still kind of a useful passive perk, you know. Feedback Fence. When have you seen people run this one in PvE? I feel like I'm being a bit mean here to some of these, you know. It's just, it reacts to you being hit and hitting enemies, and then it jolts targets. It does consume your armor charge though. Why does it consume your armor charge? This one is built around having armor. This is weird. Are there other exotics that are built like this around armor charge? This is strange. Like, it's such a weird effect. It only reacts and jolts if you have armor charge. Why is it not allowed to do this on its own? Like, you would get armor charge for just hitting people with your melee, which is honestly nice. But there are so many ways to gain armor charge in this game. And then the effect of having armor charge is just kind of jolting targets around you. Like, clearly this is more built for PvP again, but I don't know, man. I think this would be, I guess, like retaliation effects. We're gonna get to this when we talk about Hunter, but retaliation effects, I don't think Bungie likes these in PvE because there's opportunities there to really fuck up your balance, and Bungie is like a very tight game balancing. They don't want any weird outliers. So I guess this one is difficult to balance because, you know, imagine you just getting hit and then you just delete every enemy around you. Although, why does it have to be like this? It could blind enemies, you know. Aeon Safe, we probably, you know, these have like very specific purposes. I have rarely used these, but I don't think I'm gonna rag on these ones. They're just very specifically pigeonholed in their specific type of build. You know, if you want to help out in a team scenario, if you want to do like really team play builds, use this exotic, because this is like the teamwork exotic. It's not that great, to be honest, but I don't think this one is useless. Dude, I just remembered a lot of these arms are pretty fucking good on Titan. You know, even though backup plans is pretty nice. Silence Rampart, obviously, in PvE, yeah, you know, that's like purely a PvP exotic. And that's okay. I think it's okay, you know. Second Chance, too, with a melee build is probably pretty funny, throwing like 2 shields, so we're looking pretty good for Titan Arms exotics here. There's still a few poopers, you know. Helm of Saint 14 is kind of just Sadge, and ACDC Feedback Fans kind of, I wish there was more. But damn, Stronghold, yep. Warm God, yep. Ashen Wake, yep. Ursa, yeah, Ursa. Apparently Ursa doesn't give enough Sentinel shield back when you guard with it. That might be a bug or something, but Ursa apparently not in such a good place yet. But I don't think this one is like turbo niche and nobody's using it and people are shitting on this exotic. You know, Ice Soul Mantle, pretty good as well. Yep. Wishful Ignorance. this is probably the fucking best currently. This is fucking, I love this one. This is how you do an exotic. A little bit overtuned, to be honest. It's a little bit overtuned. Pyrogale, point, contact, cannon brace. This one as well. This one is very niche, you know, recalling your hammer, but it's a cool effect. Like, the Titan arms are pretty cool. Pretty good. You know, Heart of Inmost Light, though, like, I think the fact that the class items that do have Inmost Light's effect on it has kind of diminished this exotic. It's still good, but it's kind of just, there's an exotic class item that does the same thing. Sure, you can only use it on Prismatic, but I've also not seen anyone use the Heart of Inmost Light anymore for quite some time. Severance and Closure. This one can, I think this one rolls on a class item as well, so this one has also kind of been dethroned a little bit. Like, again, who's using this one? Hollow Fire Heart, who's using this one? Like, are you using Hollow Fire Heart? If you do so, hey, kudos to you, but these, I actually don't see these used quite often. Hoarfrost C is, I think, Hoarfrost, let's look about this one. Hazardous Propulsion Engine. Yeah, this one might be the worst. Stasis Barricade becomes a stasis wall. I think I've used this one in a Grandmaster Strike to generate shards for teammates, because we were all doing like a really stupid, weird stasis gimmick build. But this is just, this is not in a good spot. This one is not in a good spot. It's also, it doesn't look very good. You're looking like a graphic card for some reason. Hazardous Propulsion Engine is good, you know. Arbor Warden, you know. PvP exotic. Dune Marchers, PvP, you know. MK1 Standard Sights, also PvP. There's a lot of PvP stuff in there. Should these be like really usable in PvE? While your Juggernaut shield is active, you slowly gain Bolt Charge. Has anybody used this? In endgame, is this one good? Because again, this is like something I haven't, you know, this is the first time I've seen this effect, man. They buffed this and added Bolt Charge to it. Are you using this though? Is anybody using this? Like, again, case in point, this thing got buffed and updated, and I haven't seen somebody talk about this at a grand scheme of things or make a build around this, you know? Yep. Now we have Blast Drive Striders. And I have to completely do a full disclosure here. I have never used this one, so I'm not going to talk about this. But I know that clanmates consistently shit on this one, so apparently people don't like this. But this one is apparently not that good. Now we have the Hunter. You already know what this is going to be. It's going to be Blight Ranger. Bungie, how many times have we tried to rework this one? It does not consume extra super energy. You get arc weapon damage, and you blind, and you reflect the damage. Like, Bungie. Like, with all due respect, at a certain point, I think you need to get rid of the reflect portion. And I know why, and this is the point where I want to talk about balance in this game. Bungie runs a very tight balancing job. This is also the reason why I believe that Wishful Ignorance is going to get nerfed again. They really don't want to fuck around with effects such as reflecting, because you see what certain hunters have been doing to Atheon recently, right? You see what certain builds can do in certain situations. We had like shotgun insta-killing bosses and stuff like this, right? So, and then we have an effect that's like reflecting damage that is like easily abused. And it could easily turn into like the single best exotic in the game. So I believe we need to get rid of the entire idea of you deflecting stuff with your arc stuff here. Again, I have no idea what to do with this one, but continuously building around the reflect mechanic, I don't think this is going to work out. And I don't think like guarding with your art stuff does not consume extra super energy. You get arc weapon damage, and you create a blinding burst. Like, is this a PvP? Are people using this in PvP? Is that it? Surely not. Like, just throw your arc stuff, man. People might be using this in PvP. I don't know though. Are people using this in PvP? I don't know. The community is just continuously shitting on this one. This is like probably one of the more hated exotic armor pieces in the community. Especially the hunters are not happy with this one. And I'm too, because I believe you could just rework this and give it anything else besides, you know, deflecting stuff with arc stuff. I know, Bungie, you don't like this one. And you're really careful with reflect damage, and I know why. I've seen games where this mechanics like this get completely out of hand, and then you need to rework the entire thing, and it's really annoying. And Bungie, again, has very tight balancing. They don't want super high outliers, such as, you know, certain Titan exotics currently. Skip grenade. Hey, you know, this might even be fun on a grenade build. Forget it. You know, this is kind of a mid-exotic, but it's not super niche. Everything looks good here. This one, by the way, is actually really good. I forgot the YouTuber who made the build around this, but this one is actually, if you want to do like a sneaky secret build here, try this one out. The Arthur's Embrace here is actually pretty good. Try it out. Lucky Raspberry. Okay. Yeah, I think Lucky Raspberry is another one that's not that good. Jolting, lightning, arc bolt grenades. Yeah, like, meh. Like, I'm not taking this one. Like, stunning overloads and jolting on arc bolt grenades, I'm just not taking this one. Again, this competes with other exotic armor pieces. Like, no, I'm not taking this one. I could do stuff for my teammates with Omnioculus. I could do Gerfalcons. I could even do like Raiju's Harness shenanigans, you know? Or I could do this one. This one is actually not that bad, you know? Threaded Spike, bouncing to Tangles. But Lucky Rasp, no. No, dude, this is not good either. Like, anything but this one. I believe Dragon Shadows kind of just... yeah, they kind of made it a little bit meh. It's still okay. It's okay. Some of these are just kind of like, you know, you get an extra dodge. You do stuff with Spectral Blades, you know. I think these are okay to exist, even though Gwynsen's West. Have you seen your fellow hunter running Gwynsen's West in a endgame activity? Have you seen someone use Spectral Blades in an endgame activity? I would argue probably not. Probably not. I've seen people use this one, so this is definitely, this one is good, you know. Jester. Dodging disorients enemies. Like, the radar removal, this is a PvP exotic, but yeah. Meh. Bombardiers. Look at the effects on this thing. You, depending on your class, you get like blind, scorch, suppress, slow, sever on the dodge. Yet nobody's using this one. Nobody's using this one. Even though honestly, the blind is pretty cool, right? Suppressing is also pretty cool, but nobody's using this one. Should you do something with it? Yeah, I believe you could do something with this. You know, up the damage a little bit on the parting gift. Frosty's also kind of like increased grenade melee dodge and duration, where sprinting dodging increases your sprint speed. Okay. But, you know, on a grenade or melee build, are you going to use this exotic? That's kind of the question, you know. Are you utilizing this exotic to get your grenade and melee back faster? Or are you using an exotic, maybe a class item, or another exotic that does something more beneficial than just giving you cooldowns back? I think exotics is just kind of give you cooldown reduction on stuff it's kind of difficult to justify because they compete with just other exotics that do more interesting stuff, like things that genuinely just give you better damage output or make you invisible, tankier, you know. Yep. Balance of power, what the hell? Yep. I don't mind the other ones here. This one is more of a support-ish PvP thingy. Yeah, I think these are okay. Now we go through the Warlock. Does the Warlock even have bad exotics? Warlock has pretty fucking good exotics. I mean, ostracized well as, you know. Yeah, for blinking. But you can't hate on this one. You can't hate on this one. It's funny. It's funny. Come on, it's funny. And the enemies even become volatile if you blink in them. You do have to use blink though. I know there's probably blink warlocks out there who are really fucking good at using this, especially in PvP. Yep, Fellwinter's Helm, Dawn Chorus is good, Fallen Censer is good, this is good. Aeon Soul again, Aeon. Winter Skull is good. Aphelion Aspect, don't sleep on this one. I really like this one as well. It's just a very neat kind of generic buff. It's more, you know, PvP buff. But yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't use this in PvP. Yeah. I wouldn't use this in PvP. This is more of a PvP weapon. I wouldn't use Aphelion Aspects in PvE unless I really want to use Deadman's Tail. And I want to really reload fast for some reason. Claws of Ahamkara is good, Getaway Artist, although I think some of the buddies currently are not in such a good state, damage-wise, still good. Necrotic is good. Oh, we got one. I found one. This one isn't that good. You get an extra scatter, but you don't get like grenade cooldowns, and you get better tracking on the projectiles, but I haven't seen anybody use this one. Like we could do something with this one. You know, give it a little bit of a buff. Do that, you know. And then there's some of these that I've never really used. Oh, these are probably good. These are probably good. Yeah. Void Souls have longer duration. This is probably okay. Then we have this one. People really don't like this one. I haven't tried this one out a little bit. The problem is this one is huge and it's difficult to like put into a build. I'm very fashion obsessed in this game, so I don't like stuff that's difficult to match. But I don't really know why people are complaining about this one. Apparently it misses a lot, but it did some pretty significant damage to mages when I was trying it out. So I don't know. Wings of Sacred Dawn is one that I will never understand why it exists the way it is. You know, I think it was even nerfed because it used to reload weapons from reserves, but it doesn't do that in a way that people expected it to do anymore. And it is already in a state where I would argue it's never really been that cool. I guess the gimmick effect is cool, floating, but Warlock can already kind of float. Heat rises, you know. It's such a cool looking exotic too. Man, I wish this was this. I just wish it did something more interesting, you know. I just wish it did something more interesting. And now we need to talk about Chromatic Fire. Look at all of these effects. I tried to make a build with frickin' Kate's gun. And thought, you know, oh, I would then explosion on precision kills. And then I would like blind or scorch enemies. But the explosion of Chromatic Fire is just really not that good. It's A, it's a delayed explosion, and B, it's weirdly not good. And I was super perplexed because this one hurts really bad in PvP. But in PvE it felt weak. I don't even know why. And there's another exotic that looks pretty fucking baller. I wish they would do something with this one, just buff it a little bit, you know? Maybe a little bit more range? I don't know why this feels bad in PvE. Phoenix Protocol is good, Vesper of Radius is okay, Arc Shockwaves, yep. I should probably try this one out at a certain point in time. This is like one of the most neglected exotics that I have in my repertoire. This one is really good. The fucking Strand nuke build? That's great. That's great. These... Oh. Yeah, I forgot this one. This one is really not that great. You can go like full GIMP with this one though. You can go like full on GIMP, make this one like all black leather. Hell yeah. GIMP Warlock. But yeah, this one isn't that good, man. Just extra damage with your tickle fingers. Question is like, who tickle fingers? Are you using this in PvP? Probably not. Are you using this in PvE? Are you using Storm Trance to try and damage bosses? Which, you know, you need to defeat enemies with Storm Trance to get more damage. You do get super energy when it ends, you know, but yeah, it smells like a PvP exotic. But it, you know, is that okay? Is it okay for it to just not be good in PvP? In PvE? Man, I keep mixing this up. I don't know why. I'm like turbo schizophrenic today for some reason. Yeah. Yep. Promethean Spur. These are weird. Why the feet, man? Why the feet? They don't even look good. You get class ability energy when your solar super is a... Why is only a solar? Healing Rift creates a pulse, grants radiant. Empowering Rift instead grants cure. Daybreak final blows grant both the effect. There's a lot of stuff on this exotic and people are still not using it. You're locked into solar. You would probably get a lot of rift energy. You can make people radiant while rifting or curing them with empowering rift. These are actually not bad, but, and again, it's probably because this exotic just kind of has to compete with better stuff in the arsenal. I don't know. I think this is the one that got changed. Boots of the Assembler. Apparently the blessing projectiles behave weirdly. But this is not an argument to say that this weapon is bad. These are pretty good too. Like, you might not expect this, but with fusion rifles and linear fusion rifles, since we have like an exotic fusion rifle, you know, Vex Mythoclast, these are pretty nice in combination with Mythoclast. And I think this is... An exotic like this is fine because, hey, it has synergy with a specific weapon type. And we happen to have like a very good weapon type in the Mythoclast. And playing this together with Mythoclast, Vex Mythoclast, is just a cool, you know... This is how Sturm and Drang should feel, in my opinion. You know, you put these two together, bam, 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 it's like an exotic combination. And it's just kind of nice. Yeah, is it the most effective thing in the world? No, probably not. You just kind of get, you know, you just get to be radiant all the time. And Mythoclast is kind of cool. It does good damage. And you can use the linear fusion mode to do some pretty good precision damage when it's charged. But I think this one is like, it's in a good spot because it does have that synergy. And we don't know if Bungie is going to add primary ammo linear fusion rifles in the game at some point in time. You know, like, we don't know what Bungie is cooking up, you know. By the way, any of these exotics could potentially become useful if there's a new weapon type introduced to the game that has synergy effects with them. But yeah, I think this is most of the stuff that I wanted to talk about for now. Like, luckily, especially with the armor pieces, I have found less things to bitch about. When it comes to the weapons though, there's lots and lots of stuff. Of course, there's like way more weapons in the game, but some of the weapons I feel are like unduly left in the dust for no reason. And it's just kind of sad that because people won't pick them up, and if you bring them to like an activity, people just kind of go, what? Why are you bringing this? I mean, you're hopefully not gonna get kicked out of a fire team if you bring like unorthodox builds. I hope the community has not gotten to this point. But I feel like some of these exotics, if you bring them, people are gonna question you, and especially if you don't perform, people might point out, hey, instead of using Trespasser, you could use anything else that's better in this slot, that's arc-related, that jolts, you know. Again, in a world where Year-Tide Apex exists, which is not an exotic weapon. What are some of the exotic weapons doing for your build? That's the question. If certain legendary weapons are just straight up better, in any case, in any way, shape or form, than an exotic, I believe that something should be done with it. And I'm pretty confident that Bungie's gonna get around to it, but with some of these, I just kind of wonder why nothing has been done. Because adding certain class verbs to these might already help them out a little bit. And yet, it just doesn't do anything. When it comes to the fundamentals, by the way, we could get them verbs too, by the way. That might be a cool idea, you know? What if my frickin', where is it? What if my Borealis could jolt? That would be cool. Jolt. Maybe scourge a little bit. Maybe could suppress enemies on a headshot. Maybe it needs to be a headshot or something like that. That would be kind of cool. Now, if you argue in the comments that no matter what you're doing to these weapons, people are not going to use it, I would partially agree, because no matter what you do with some of these weapons, there will likely always be a meta choice that people gravitate towards. Unless you literally make this weapon like turbo meta to the point where it outshines other predecessors. Like, this is my favorite weapon in the game. We are gonna end the video on a high note, talking about my favorite weapon in the game. It just explodes. It explodes. It's allowed to scourge as well. You know, Sunshot is in such a great place. It's a 150. It's super nice. That's a cool, unique reload animation. It just looks super spacey and alien. It's like to me, this weapon is kind of the poster boy for Destiny. Like the first gameplay video that I saw of somebody playing this, they had this in their hand, invaded in Gambit, and wiped the entire team with it. And I went, damn, I want to play this game, right? This is how cool this weapon is. It was the first thing I saw about this game, and it has never disappointed me. It has never disappointed me, never ever. No matter which point in time this weapon existed, I always used this one. I was kind of super happy with this one's performance. I can always chuck this one on and use it and have fun with it. You know, have a million skins for it too, because I love this weapon. It's great. It's great. This is a really good example of an exotic. Super old, and the other one too. Like, these are base level. You get these in the Red War campaign. You get these during Red War. Graviton Lance 2. So good. It's just kind of extra damage, black hole effect. Cool. That's cool. It's like a super high precision, high damaging gun with an extra bit of AoE on top of it. That's a good exotic. That's cool. You know, people are using this. I'm using this regularly. I use this regularly. You know, I don't think it's currently featured. Though it is. Look at that. It is featured. So even more reason to use it. Hell yeah. So yeah. I think these are good examples for exotics. Graviton Lance, Sunshot, the OGs, like OG weapons. And then Skyburners is here, and this is kind of sad. Like, please Bungie, do something funny with this one. It would be so cool to have this one be just kind of cool. I tried everything. I tried running it with the Warlock helmet to have it scorch more, but it's just kind of... It just goes everywhere, and that's messy. I do like messy, but I don't like if it goes everywhere because you have to clean up afterwards. What am I talking about? It's time to end this video. That's all I wanted to say, you know. Lots and lots of exotics. Some of them very, very far behind in terms of usefulness. If this video made you unreasonably angry, comment down below.